Welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here on a Thursday afternoon. I know it's a little bit different timing. I just wanted to make sure I got these questions answered. And at the same time, trying to run from meeting to meeting. It's such a crazy day today, but very grateful that we have this time together because I hear your questions and I get nervous. And I don't mean that any other way except positively. I just see that there's learning there, but there's a little more to go. And so if I can take this opportunity and try to point out where you are and the direction that we want to go in, I hope that you find it very helpful. I do think that it is positive to make comments. I do check back in, not a long time after, but a certain time after. I check back in to see how your learning's going. And it really helps me try to figure out or to understand kind of where we're at as a community, where we're at. And I know we're at different places, don't get me wrong, but it does help me to understand that we're in where we're at. And because this is the middle of the Thursday afternoon, I've turned my phone off, but just know that I may get some weird things coming in. All right, so welcome everybody. It's great to be here. I really do appreciate you being here. The one thing about doing it in the daytime is the nighttime I just feel more relaxed. The daytime is like, so if I'm a little bit, you'll please understand. Okay, so I'm going to start this with our first question while everybody's just kind of coming in to say hi. Thank you again for being here, everybody. All right, and so our question starts with wide-legged pants and pressing them. I've always liked a well-pressed crease down the front of my pants, but I'm noticing so many of the wide-legged styles don't have it. How would you decide? Fabric, weight, personal preference, or a style rule that I haven't come across? Okay, so number one, there's no style rule. There's no rule. This follows fashion. So I'm going to tell you that it follows fashion and it follows its choice. It's your personal choice. So I'm going to show you a couple photos. These are current photos of what's in the stores today. The first one, this is Veronica Beard. And notice that this, and if you can't see it, I'm going to fill in the blanks. This is called a pin tuck flare. This little tuck is all the way down. It starts all the way to the waist and goes all the way to the hem. That would be the grain line. It's not the only grain line, but that one grain line is the crease line. So I think this is very pretty. I think it's very flattering. It doesn't mean that it needs to happen in all of your pants, but just know that's one way to do it. Here's a second photo, which I brought in because it's a completely opposite way to do it. Notice the price, very expensive. This is a Michael Kors. The pleating, the press, and this is only a press, it's not stitched because I went back and checked the details. I put under magnifying, and you could actually look up these pants and you can look at them a little closer. Whenever you do a crease line, and I just want to make sure we all understand, a crease line is a grain line. But a grain line is perpendicular to the crotch line. So you could have a whole bunch of grain lines on the front of a pant. Grain line just means straight with the grain of the cloth. But there's one grain line that is the crease line, and that is down from the dart to the center of the hem. Now that is your crease line, and that's where you would crease the pant. This is where this is creased. Now in this particular case, it's only creased. And it's only creased, if you'll notice, from the crotch down. It is not creased above the crotch line. This is the biggest mistake I see home sewers make. And it's because above the crotch line, the pant goes in. And that crease line, press line, whatever you want to call it, will look really silly if it's not done correctly. So stop that at the crotch line. When you go to stitch it, it follows the dart. And so that's 4 inches from center front, and that's done correctly. But just be really careful on this. Follow the rules. The rules are 4 inches from center front down to the center of the hem. But as far as rules, fashion rules, as far as are they in style or are they not, they are in style. You can do them. You can press them. You can stitch them. You can do either one. But they're very pretty. And really what they do is they give a narrower presence presentation to a wide leg pant. So wide leg pant is wide, and we always say the wider the hem, the wider you look. What that vertical line does is it gives you a much narrower presence to a wider leg, and it's a very positive look. So if you like it, go with it. Follow it, take it all the way home. If you don't like it, no worries. Okay? Okay, and again, you guys, oh, love the jet. Thank you. You like that? Okay, I'm cheating. Okay. I have to admit I'm cheating. So the jacket I have on is a new pattern that's coming out. It's not one of the fall 4, but it's a new pattern that we're bringing out in September. I love it. I've made it. I want to kind of, you know, whenever I make new patterns, I kind of want to wear them in. I have an appointment this afternoon that I thought, oh, it's perfect for, and so I threw it on. And I should have changed before I showed this to you. I mean, I forgot. I was going to change, and I forgot. But it is a new pattern. It's coming out this fall. Okay? All right. And that's where our heads are at too. We're having the fall photo shoot. We've got fall fabric. You know, we're very fall at this point. Although, having said that, this morning I was on the phone ordering fabrics, and very much for transition, which is now the ones we put up this morning for $14.99. Great transition fabrics, beautiful. They have the colors of the fall, but they have the cottons and the textures of the heat. So they're really beautiful transition fabrics. Okay, so this next one is, she is doing some changes on a pattern, and she's asking me, is this right? So this is 523. This is Frames 4-way halter. Frames 4-way halter is 523. Now what she wanted to do two things. In all of the silhouette patterns, she has to lower the bust point. And then she felt the underarm was too tight. Okay, now recognize that in this pattern, there is no bust point. The bust point doesn't matter. So would I have done it this way? No. I think it's too much work. I would have just lowered the armhole. So let me explain to you, or try to explain to you briefly, the differences. When you are looking to change, to alter a pattern, the whole reason for me that I've separated out for you L, C, and D is because it's important that you first recognize, is the problem L, C, or D? Now, L is length. This is her armhole being too tight is a length issue. And yes, you can cut and add, but that is so much more work than just literally drawing the armhole down on the front and back and literally drawing the armhole down on the sleeve. I mean, it's taken you 2 seconds. This is much more labor intensive. Does it move the bust point down? It does, but there's no bust point. So this is a really good example of having the information and applying the information, but not quite understanding why we're doing it. And I think it's awesome. I'm so excited, and I really appreciate you guys sending these questions, because we all learn from these questions, and we all learn, okay, wait, what are we doing here? What are we doing wrong? Or are we in the right step? And you are. So when you decide upon this bust problem and the armhole problem, put them into a category of L, C, or D. Once you do that, you want to find the simplest way to make these changes. Slashing and adding tissue, to me, is not simple. It's much more time consuming. It might be simple, but it takes a whole bunch of time, rather than just, bam, cutting that armhole lower and cutting the sleeve lower. That would take, you know, an eighth of the time. So again, it's a learning process. You did it this way, you thought it was right, or you thought it gave you the results you wanted, but it could be better. So all I want to do is, I don't want to offend anybody, and I so appreciate, you know, sending in the picture, but I always want to make sure that you first off categorize it. Is it length, circumference, or depth? Am I in the right category? And what's the easiest way to do it? We always go to a seam first. We always default to a seam first. And if not, then we go from there. Okay? Okay, so I love that, you guys. I just love the learning that takes place. I just feel like y'all are coming so far. It's exciting to, you know, anyway, thanks. Okay, Peggy, I have a rounded back, so I need a rounded back adjustment. I want to make 212 cores zipper top. Should I slice the yoke? So this is basically what should I do. So I did this for you, and let me show you the photo. This is the photo. So core zipper top is a little unusual in that it has a yoke. That piece number 1 is the yoke, front and back. Piece number 2 is the body that gathers into the yoke, front and back. You would not slice the yoke because you want the yoke, first off, the yoke is narrow enough that it's right where the slice would be anyway. It's not, if it was a big wide yoke that went way far down, like in Sonia's blouse or something like that, you couldn't slice below the yoke. But this yoke is so narrow that it's right where it ends is right about the place where you would slice to add. So you don't want to slice the yoke, number 1, because if you're trying to use plaids or bias or stripes, you want that yoke line to be straight. Because if it's not straight, it will be very visual to the eye that it's not straight. Okay, but the next piece, piece number 2, is where you're going to add only to the back the additional length you need. So if you typically slash and add to the back 3/4 of an inch, you're going to add 3/4 of an inch, and I drew it with that red line, tapering to nothing out to the arm, to the sleeve. Okay, it's as simple as that, but you don't add to the front and the back, so you'd have to make a copy and add more to the front and then leave the back, add to the back and leave the front as normal. But that's your alteration for a rounded back on 212. Okay, but that's because you don't want to change the yoke. You want to keep it narrow. You want to keep it where it is. You want to keep it straight so you can play with it as far as style goes. And you want to add to the back there. Okay, easy enough? Okay. I almost missed this. I thought it was later tonight. If you had missed it, then you can, you guys can watch it tonight. And I know I love it when you guys are live. I love it live. I think it's real. Somehow when it's taped, it just doesn't seem real. But anyway, I love it when it's live. I do it when it's live. I just can't always do it on a Thursday night. So I was going to postpone it to next Thursday night. Next Thursday night, I'm completely out of town. So better to get it done. So it was, hence we moved it earlier. Good. So that's the rounded back, and that's for 212. But also, I think it helps you answer, okay, what ways do I change a rounded back? And there you go. Okay, our next question is, okay, this is a photo too. Let me get to this photo, sorry. All right, I'm going to have you guys help me, okay? Okay. So this is, I'm hoping you can see where it's got, like, this is a halter. I'm not sure. Oh, it's 523. Sorry. She has it at the very beginning. Sorry about that. 523. And that is Frame's 4-way halter. Okay, so it's got that little dippy-do there. And she is saying that she's not sure what it is or how to fix. Okay, so we're going to go through and we're going to go through the process. And every time you guys are doing this at home, this is what I want you to do. Can y'all see that okay? Okay, let me just make sure that everybody can see that. I'm in France. Good grief. I could go to France. What's the weather in France? It's beautiful, right? It's summertime? Okay, you can answer that. Okay, so you're going to go through that process. Is it length? Now length means, okay, so first off, the reason it's not length is notice the problem is angular. It's in one section and not in another. Whenever you have a problem that's just in one little section, that's never going to be length. Just length will be a problem all the way across, just an FYI. And I think that might be, a really easy way to in length in general. Okay, so then is it circumference? So if it's circumference, I want to go to the side seam, and I'm going to pin up the side seam. I'm going to take up the side seam and see if that fixes it. My guess is it's the side seam. And if she went in and picked up that side seam, it would probably fix it. If it were depth, there would be a gap at the armhole. That's not a gap, that's more excess fabric that's dragging because there's just too much circumference right there. So I'm going to ask, and this person knows who she is, to go ahead and pinch that up at the side seam that's existing and see if that doesn't take care of all of it. And I think it will be. Here in Marseille, Mediterranean coast, it's sunny and hot. In the north of France, they're sewing fall clothes because it's been raining for ages. Yeah, I would not doubt that, you guys. Fall is so strong anyway. Now, when you say it's sunny and hot, give us a degrees. Like, what's hot to you? Some people think hot is 80. Some people think hot is 100. So I always like to know temperature so that I know if we're talking the same thing. All right, so you guys, we can take a little bit of a little quick trip to France and know that it's raining. But yeah, we can, you know, I'm a big believer in starting to sew early, but there's so much time now, July and August, and even to September, to where we're going to have warm weather, that there's so many fun things to sew. So like I said, I just put in a big order for summer fabric, and you know, we'll give it a really good price, but I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I would like to have a lot of fun with it. I did ponteromas, I did a lot of fun stuff, so I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so our next question is, we're waiting to get the temperature in France, what it is. This next question, and I think this is a really good one, you guys, and I need you to stick with me and think this through, okay? She's talking about 125 and 314. Now, 125, these are fit to stitch donation patterns is what she's talking about. 125 has a turtleneck, but it's a turtleneck that wraps around. So I guess it wouldn't matter, even if it were just a turtleneck. We'll use a turtleneck as an example. 314 is not a turtleneck, it's a jewel neck, and so those two are different in that way. Okay, the patterns say two-way stretch only. Could I also work with a one-way, and why or why not? Perfect. Okay, let's go to just a turtleneck in general. You have to have two-way stretch for a turtleneck, otherwise you can't get it off and on your head. A one-way stretch will not stretch enough in sewing or in getting it off and on for you to get a turtleneck off and on with stretch in only one direction. So with any type of turtleneck, this is a type of turtleneck where it wraps around your neck. You've got to have stretch in both directions. So when you are trying to decide, do you need stretch in both directions or just one direction, look at the structure of the garment. And I've always said to you, figure out how to get it off and on. And if it's really tight to the neck, the off and on is going to have to come out as well as up, and that's what causes that two-way stretch. It's not enough. The neckline isn't big enough for one-way stretch to take care of going from my neckline over my head. See, this is all logical stuff, so I know you'll understand this. It's just a matter of remembering it or applying it. Then 314 is just a, you know, it's a Q-top. I mean, I'm not even sure if, I don't even think it's available anymore. We've sold out of it. But anyway, it's got a side panel. It's Q-top, kimono sleeve. That could be done with one way because it's a jewel neck, and the jewel neck is big enough that I can get it over my head with only one-way stretch, and so that one-way stretch is okay. Now there's sometimes people, I think in general, sewers, we confuse a one-way knit with a one-way stretch woven. Those are not the same animal. Those are two different animals. A one-way knit typically has way more stretch than a one-way stretch woven. And so a lot of times a one-way stretch woven, if I were to try to get it over my head, like in a t-shirt, it would not happen. So that's what you want to go through and ask yourself, what does the garment require of the fabric in order to get it off and on and in order to move? Now typically in order to move, we only need one way. Almost always across the board, we only need one way. It's the neck and it's the turtleneck and it's that whole concept that we need two ways to get the neckline off of our head. Our head is that much bigger than, you know, what the fabric needs are. Okay, I'm hoping that makes sense to you all. 86 degrees and 86 degrees is hot. Well, I shouldn't tell you here in Dallas. Let me check what the weather is. Just for jollies, just to compare to France, you guys. Let's see, weather right now, our temperature is 96 degrees. 86, that's wimpish. Too funny. We're at 96 here today in Dallas. I love the heat. I love the heat. It can't be hot enough. And I know everybody just cringes when I say that. And I shouldn't say it because it causes too much trauma and drama. Okay, so those are all the questions I have. I'm going to leave a little time for you all to respond. We can chat. We can just play for a minute. We got through all the questions, and that was awesome. And you guys are the best. Let me go back to... Oh, 100 degrees. Paula, where are you? Yeah, you win. This is not one we want to win in, is it? We do not want to win. They're sewing fall clothes just because the climate is so much cooler there. So you don't have as much use. It depends on where you're living, how much use you have. You know, I grew up in Miami. I didn't have but 2 sweaters in my closet. And we got excited when we got to wear one. 30 degrees. That's great, you guys. Yeah, the weather, you know, one of the reasons I love living in Dallas, I hate to say this, it sounds extremely, I don't know, but I just didn't want to live the rest of my life in a climate that was warm all the time. I wanted the change of seasons. I wanted to be able to wear cashmere. I wanted, you know, you can't wear that stuff in Miami. It's too hot. But I love I love the seasons. And I really wanted to live in a place that had seasons. Some of my children are greatly opposed to that decision that I made. But I really enjoy the seasons. I love the seasons. And I love the clothing that goes along with those seasons. Okay, what else is on your mind today, ladies? Let's see what else we've got. It's too late to pre-order the what blouse from the other day? I had to work. Oh, the sheared blouse. Oh, no, you can, that's not a pre-order, you guys. We have that in stock. The only thing that we had a deadline on, oh, we had the serger giveaway. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that early this morning. And so, oh, it's 81. No, we're only at 96, you guys. No, we're not gonna, we were like 92 on 4th of July. We were out cooking. It was wonderful. It was amazing. Okay, so let me go back to this pattern, 323. You can get that pattern anytime. It's not a pre-order. The only thing we did is we entered into the serger giveaway, and we took everyone who bought anything from June 1 forward. We kind of, you know, June 1 forward to today, literally this morning. And we had a serger giveaway, and Jane Schaefer won the serger, you guys. She lives in Littleton, Colorado. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But anyway, Jane Schaefer. So she won. I shouldn't have said where she lived. Oops. Anyway, so we're so excited for her. She's excited. She can't believe she won. You know, like all of us, if we won anything, are you kidding? You know, we never win anything. That's why it's so much fun to give stuff away. But anyway, we'll mail that serger out to her first part of next week, and it will be hers. But for everybody who gave, you guys, and there was, I wrote it down. Let me see. There was 152 entries. So thank you all. We're not to our goal, but we'll have some more sew-alongs. We'll have some more stuff that we're going to do. But yes, everything you buy from Fit to Stitch will help. Everything. Everything, everything, everything. Tommy's cargos need to take in waist by 5 inches. Would like to take in the yoke. Where do I find the darts in the front? Tommy's, this is a men's pant, right? Tommy's cargo? You should be making this by the waist. You shouldn't be having to take in a waist by 5 inches because men don't have any butt. So, again, it's hard for me to help you on the fly. And they don't have darts. Tommy's cargo pant? Am I on the, Tommy's is a man. Send me that separately for me. I don't know how, you know, I'm kind of answering that off the fly, and I think I'm doing a lousy job. Last week is 114. Now that it's raining, it's in the 90s. Here we say, if you don't like the weather, wait a couple hours. It'll change. I love that. I love that, you guys. Love listening and learning. I get excited when I can answer the questions correctly. Good, 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 good. And that's the goal, you guys. And I love it when you are listening along and you're just trying to, you know, confirm of what you already know. I think that's a really important part of all of this. When does the blue leather ship? Good question. We should have it in any day. I mean, literally any day. We shipped out fusible interfacing. We are waiting on that. We've already started shipping out the 5 pattern pack, the Kai scissors. We'll have all of that shipped out by Wednesday of next week. I would imagine the blue leather would be out by then also. We're just waiting for it any day. I was wearing 105 in the grocery store. Oh, 105. Oh, that's Oscar. That's De La Renta's top, and she told me she liked my top. I went home and started sewing. Good girls, you guys. This is the perfect time of year to sew. It's hot. It's hot. It's the perfect excuse to be inside, cool, behind our sewing machines, chilling out, loving it, loving every minute. Way to go. Good. Okay, let me know what else. The one on the Tommy's cargos, if you'll just send me that privately. You guys just know that sometimes on these Q&As, I go back and forth several times. And I only present them to you once we have resolved the issues. And once, you know, we both kind of know what's going on, if that makes sense. All right, there's so much exciting stuff going on. I've got so much beautiful fabric from you. I'm going to tell you something. Fabric has been a concern for mine for a while. You know, just at getting less fabric. Less fabric is available. And I was talking to my guy in New York yesterday, and he said the reason fabric is less available is because there's two types of fabric. One is your couture, your designer, you know, the Balenciaga and the ones that have the name on it. And then everything else is called fast fashion. Now, even though that's a terrible name, it's a little derogatory, but it's considered fast fashion. That's the Diane von Furstenberg, that's Lafayette 148. Those are categories that are called fast fashion. Even though it's very expensive, it's still fabric-wise under the category of called fast fashion. That fast fashion, what they're doing, which is where the majority of our fabric comes from, what they're doing is they are ordering fabrics in smaller quantities, and they're fulfilling orders, but that's it. You can't, if a store sells out and wants to reorder, they can't do it. And they're okay with not doing it because they don't have the extra fabric, and they're not ordering the extra fabric. So their budgets are just really tight, and really, we know this all. It's really all because it's still hanging over from COVID. Those COVID effects are still very strong for all of us in business. We know that 2 years out, we're still struggling with, you know, to get back on track with COVID. COVID caused such a big dent in everybody's, you know, budget and stuff. Top with the waterfall sleeves, always get compliments. Oh, great job. I love it, you guys. I love it when you make it and you're so proud of it that you wear it and you love it. Making Amy's skirt, loving it with linen. Good, and I've got some beautiful linens coming in. I'm not giving up on linen. I'm just not. I've got some really good prices coming in. Linens usually run so expensive, but this is going to be some really good prices. You may not have time today, but when you can, will you give some tips on making muslins for the class? I'm going to Raleigh. I'm so excited. How do we decide which size to make for class? So I'm going to give everybody a lesson. You're going to measure some of your ready-made garments that would correspond. You're going to measure some ready-made garments that would correspond with the size. Like if you're making a blouse, you're much better off to do your homework before you start sewing than once you've cut a muslin. If you don't know what blouse size you are, because you can't measure your body, you got to measure blouse, you got to get to the store. Go to the store. We're having that shopping class. I've had quite a few ladies fly down. I've taken them shopping. I have a blast. I love doing this. But what I recognize is everyone's not going to be able to do it. I don't have time for everybody to do it. I'm doing a shopping class. It's online. I'm going to take you shopping. I'm going to show you how to make those measurements. And because we seem to be stuck that we're not doing this. And it's not hard. It will take you an afternoon, and bam, you can go home and sew like crazy for the next 2 years. But you gotta know what you're doing. Get into this shopping class. It's an online shopping class. I'm going shopping. You're going shopping with me, and I'm gonna show you how to measure everything. Please tell us if the umber color is a warm tone or a cool. It's earth tone, so that would be a warm tone, right? I'm referring to the new fabrics today. Yeah, no, that's okay. It would be, it's not here. I'm in my office and the fabric's not here. If you'll look up the umber color, raw umber it's called. If you look up 2024 fall colors, it's that umber. You can look at that and you can answer that question because it's that same exact color. I want, is that a want? To give 2 yards of drapey fabric. Oh, I do so. I give 2 yards of drapey fabric, fine wool corduroy. Was thinking Michelle's skirt for fall. Yes. Yeah, the corduroy. I have some corduroy for fall. I bought it because I know corduroy is going to be. Oh, was given 2 yards. You know, it's so funny. Wash that fine wool corduroy in Coca-Cola. Wash it in Coca-Cola, and you'll be amazed at what it does. It will soften it, and it will do the drape that you need. Michelle's skirt, though, I don't know if you ought to do Michelle's skirt unless it's a really fine wool, because each of Michelle's skirt on the bottom has a curve to it. I'm not sure that would be the best fabric. You know what I would do? I would do limbs. Limbs bias skirt. I think that would be a home run, but that's an opinion. And you know everybody's got one. Okay, so I have got to get going, ladies. I really appreciate this. How does the plans for sizing and comparison software development? It goes really good. It goes really good. We know what we want. I'll tell you something. I wouldn't mind making this announcement, you guys. If you have somebody who is a programmer, I've started working with one. I'm not know if I'm thrilled. If you guys are a programmer, know a programmer, or you know, I would really like. We have so many ideas that I can't wait to launch. Would you just shoot me an email, Peggy@silhouettepatterns.com? Because this is going to be a lot of fun and it's very easy. But it would be better. I decided after dealing with this programmer that I'm dealing with, it'd be better if it was a sewer. A sewer would take so much less explanation than what I'm having to do with this person I'm working with. That's just a thought. All right. Anyway, I've got to run. I appreciate y'all being here. I did email privately on Tommy's Cargo. I will email again. I'm sorry, I might have missed it. Yeah, email again. I do miss emails every once in a while, you guys. They pile in so fast, I just miss them. So I promise you it's never intentional. So I do appreciate your patience. All right, well, we'll see you next Tuesday night. We're going to do a sew-along. It's going to be a really fun sew-along. I'm still very much a beginner. Can you suggest a blouse dress pattern for me and suggest a fabric? I've bought a lot but don't want to use it for fear of messing it up. You guys, you cannot be afraid of messing it up. You are going to mess it up. You are going to make mistakes. You know, we got to embrace those mistakes. You know, you can't get me on my drum because you guys know. However, what I'm doing is this summer, in the month of July, what we're doing is we're doing summer easy sewing. The sew along we did last Tuesday, we're going to do another sew along next Tuesday. We're taking simple, easy patterns. So Mildred, that's my mother's name. I love the name. I'm going to suggest for you 312. 312 is the one we're going to do next Tuesday night. Get a knit, any knit. You cannot mess it up. Or do like one of the knits we put up today. And it will be a home run. You will love it. And Mildred, there's no darts. You just sew it, go for it, and tell me where you end up. I appreciate how much generous you are with your knowledge. You guys, I love that you want the knowledge. You know how great that is for me? What am I going to do with it? I know it, but it doesn't help. Have a great weekend, and thank you so much. You too, ladies. What's the pattern for Tuesday for the sew-along? 312. It's called Giorgio's Top. Okay, can you do all that? All right, you guys, you know I love you. You are the best, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Bye.